Hello, welcome to is it part 3? I don't know. We've done lots of these of looking at cinematics within Unity, more specifically looking at timeline. But in this time, we are going to also look at a little bit of Cinemachine as well. So as you can see, my screen is initially on a YouTube video, and we're going to have a look at. Don't worry, we're not going to look at 2 hours and 41 minutes of Shadows of the Empire Star Wars game. But what we're looking at is triggering. So, and this kind of popped into my head literally a couple of seconds before I started this video, so I thought I'd show you this. And what we're going to do is I'm going to essentially do a real a recreation of this. We'll see this third-person character who you are in this N64 game. You will run to a point and then you'll see the ship, I believe it's the Millennium Falcon, kind of just sort of take off. And that's from a trigger. And we're going to learn how we can trigger animations without doing enable or disable, because that's what we've done before. This time we are going to trigger it by just the character walking into an invisible trigger, or in our case we'll create that trigger as a cube initially, set it as trigger, and then we'll set it from there. Really nice and easy. Again, only 3 lines of code to sort it out, and then I'll set you a challenge at the end of this, and that's the challenge you'll be doing today. So I'm showing you an example, but I want you to do a different challenge for me. So if we watch this, it's probably got no audio, but what I'll do is I'll put the times in for this video in this Discord, so you can go from there and watch this. So let's play this through. So there'll be no audio here, but you'll be able to see the audio a bit later. So you see the third-person character walking through, and then it should, as soon as you see it, so we start seeing the Millennium Falcon here, and the trigger will go, boom, and there we go. We see that ship moving, and then we'll see that ship loading and flying off, and then boom, out the door just before. There we go, fantastic. Really good to see. Cool. So it's a little bit of wild gameplay is going on. We can trigger animations as well, which will be really nice to see. So let's try and recreate that. And again, I'll put that video in. It's only no more than like 30 seconds. So I can put this in for you, and I just thought of that as a quick example. But here we go. Here's my Unity document that I have. And as you can see, what I've done here is I've actually, if I click on Hub, will it show it? If I go to new project, so what I did was I downloaded the third-person core, which was here. So a pre-configured character controller, and as you can see here, when you download this, it will comes with all of this jazz. Pretty much, I've just kind of cleared all of this in the environment in the primitives, and kind of gone from there. As you can see, under environments, I've just turned off loads of the structures and kept the basic primitives of the floor and things like that, and then added this really ugly ship. So and then we're going to go from there. So, and this is also a new RP as well, so you might have to upgrade materials. As you can see, this is probably why some of the materials have not quite worked with this fighter, but I'm losing myself here now. So the stuff I don't need to really worry about. As you can see, there we go. There's my ugly ship. Cool, but it doesn't matter. We're going to make this fly off and take off when we hit a trigger. And what I'm going to do initially is obviously we're going to create a timeline. So I'm going to create an empty. Always make sure your timelines are separate, because all the problems that you can have with that. And then we are going to go to window and sequencing, and we can go to timeline, and we're going to add our timeline down here like we did before, so I can see my animations that I'm creating here, and I'm going to create a timeline for timeline. So let's create a new, actually I can create a new folder in a second. So I'm going to create a timeline for this, so click create, and you've done all this before, but I thought I'd just go through it as just a little bit of a reminder. And we're going to make a folder in assets here, so new folder. Again, I'm going to call this timeline, and it will just be called timeline, but that's absolutely fine. In here, click save. Cool, lovely. So what I'm going to do is with my ship, initially I'm going to put my ship, so my titanium fighter, I'm going to drag this into my timeline so it's parented in there. So everything within the timeline is what I know that's going to be kind of almost like NPC or kind of have an animation track or a control track or whatever will happen within the gameplay as well. So once I'm on timeline, we can add a animation track. There we go. And I'm going to add an animation for my titanium fighter. There we go. Oh, it wants to just, okay, we'll just create something for it. Oh, there we go. It's just added it in. Fantastic. Cool. So I might move these bits along here. So initially we want this to kind of rotate and then kind of fly off. So let's do record, and initially we can just go dump. Make sure I'm going to lock it and then go dump. And we go, I hope it's probably going to knock, if I zoom out, is that going to knock my player into next week? Oh, no, nearly. So we might have to put the trigger over here or something, or put the trigger where this post is. I didn't notice this post before, but what we'll do is we'll make it, oh, actually, let's start this off as, have we got a point there already? No, we haven't got a point. So if we just go, boom, there we go, we get our keyframe, and then at a half a second, we will rotate. Oh, actually, that'll be the lot from there. Actually, we'll give it a couple of seconds to rotate to its position. So it'll take like 4 seconds. So just plan this out on the fly. So go do, because it's kind of hovering already, I think. Do, and then we'll give it another 3 seconds just to levitate up. Zoom up, lovely. And then say it's got warp speed, give it half a second or a second and a half. So literally get over into the next. So send it right over here. Lovely, into the foggy distance. Beautiful. Right, if I zoom back in, and unclick record, and we can bring that back. Oh, it's already done the rotation. That's quite annoying. So it's just on the, it does zoom off quite nicely. So what we can do is just click back onto this, and we can put this rotation keyframe. If we record, actually, we can double click and edit this, can't we? So let's change this along to like 2. And then here we'll click record, and we can just edit this as we go. So we can go and make sure we're on our titanium fighter and click back. Let's rotate it there so it's up facing our player. Make sure that's actually done recording good. Unrecord. There we go. So it records up, gets to that rotation. So it does kind of do, it lifts itself up as it rotates. That's okay. I'm happy with that. And then boom, off it goes. Cool, lovely. So I want to make sure I'm going to put that trigger. It's not going to knock my player out because of the size of the ship. So let's put, so I could put it like right at the front, kind of like here. Where's that wing going? Have a look at the game. Oh, that is pretty close according to the camera, but we'll see what we can do. Maybe I'll put it down here or something, and then we can watch it. Cool. Yeah, I'll put the trigger over here. Lovely. So I'm happy with that. That's going to do me absolutely fine. Let's add a trigger for that. So what we're going to do, just going to be a simple cube for now. And what you'll see is that you might see all these different like yellow lines. This is essentially, there's a load of reflection probes within this scene. And they essentially, exactly what they do on the tin, reflect light off anything that could be possibly have a reflective material, and it's just kind of showing where that light would be bouncing. So I can probably find where those reflection probes are and destroy them because I don't really need them. I'm going to make this nice and big, and I'm just going to call this our ship trigger. Cool, lovely. And is that going to live? Yeah, that can live outside of our timeline actually, because that can just live out there like that. That's absolutely fine. Cool. And then what I'm going to do is what do we want? We've got that. So we need to make sure our ship trigger is a trigger. Lovely. Yeah, let's create a script. Let's just create a script. No, it should be in a folder, but being lazy. And then we'll call this trigger ship, because it will be the trigger for our ship. And then I'm going to put this into our, or let it load, let it compile down there. Fantastic, sort yourself out. Sorry, the computer's been terribly slow today. Right, and we'll put, whoa, there we go, don't know what happened there, but we'll put trigger ship into there. Lovely. So what we want to do is be able to trigger our ship from code and straight from the timeline without doing the disable and enable jazz. So and we can do that. So what we're going to do is in our script up here we can actually talk to our timeline through systems, so that we can type in using Unity engine dot playables. There we go. Fantastic. We don't need any of this because it's only like 2 lines of code. Initially what we're going to say is that we need a public playable director. Oh, that's not popping up. That's interesting. Why is it? Oh, there it is. Sorting itself out. That's interesting. Why is that not popping up? Because we've searched playables. Unity engine.playables. It likes that. But it doesn't seem to like playable director. Playable director class. There we go. Maybe it just took a while. Cool. But that should pop up. And then we're going to call this our timeline, because this is what we're actually talking about, is our timeline here. And then all we can say is on trigger enter, make it nice and simple. If, let's say, other.tag is equal to player, nice easy one, we can then say timeline dot play. Easy as that. Cool. So the only thing we need to do is find that playable director, and then we can sort out our Cinemachine camera as well. But we'll test our scenes first to make sure it actually works, and then we can go from there. So let's let this play through, compile up, and then I don't know why the ship is constantly moving about. What is the timeline doing? Nothing. Cool, right, fine. I don't know. Cool. So once we've done that, we've got the trigger in here, and the trigger will ask for the playable director. So the playable director is in the ship, or is in the ship. No, actually. Let's have a look. That's the animator. That's the playable director. So we're looking for timeline. Sorry, it's looking for the timeline. So if we go to the ship trigger and we're going to drag the timeline into there. Lovely, there we go. It's read the playable director. And hopefully, let's see if this actually works. I'm just trying to think. I think we'll be right. Let's press play and find out. I'll probably see what. Oh, it's already automatically playing. That's not cool. Cool, that does look nice, but it should work on trigger. So we may need to do, so ship trigger. It's just, the type of instance doesn't match. Player input is disabled. Let's have a look why that did that very quickly. Let's have a look at the player armature. They are tagged as player. but it didn't read the script. How interesting. On trigger, enter collider other. If the other player is either player, timeline play. Right. Okay, so why did that not listen? Because that is very interesting. Let me put the shift trigger in here for a second and just see if it plays automatically. Very interesting. Yeah, it's still doing the same old job. So this type of instance of array does not expect to match. This is talking about something completely different. Talking about the player input. I don't need the player input. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about what's going on with this timeline. Right. Play on awake. Let's click off that. That's probably what that is. There we go. Learning curve. Press play. Don't do anything. Fantastic. Cool. So watch out for that. I did not know that was a thing. I do now. So what we're going to do is walk into this trigger. Dun -dun. There we go. Fantastic. And our ship is off. And zooms off. Lovely. Fantastic. Cool. So the issue of it was the play on awake through the playable director. So we need to make sure that is unchecked. So it's almost a bit like an audio, and some animations can play on awake as well. So we're going to make sure that's unchecked. So let's just go through that again. This is just some error that's completely unrelated. So if we press play, we can see that I can go through my game. Probably not even got a collider on it. No, it hasn't. So I can walk around, come back, and then trigger this. There we go. There is a bit of a jump there, but we're going to have to, I'll sort that out because that's easily the animation. And then boom, that'll go off into the distance. Lovely. You can still see it, but there we go. It's only a demo. Lovely, fantastic. So let's come out of this. So for your challenge, oh, actually, we haven't done the Cinemachine bit. Oh my god, this video. God dear. Right, let's do the Cinemachine bit. So what we're going to do is we are going to take power away from our player. So if I turn this to maximize, press play. I need to save my changes apparently. Let's click save. And then if I go around here, let's say I can then just go boom, and then I could kind of ignore it. I can just, but what if I want my camera to kind of react to what's happening here while that flies away? What if I want my player to kind of stop and almost do like a cutscene? So how can we do that cutscene? Really, really simple. First things first, you need to make sure that you've got Cinemachine. So as soon as you add Cinemachine, you'll have a Cinemachine brain, which is kind of operating everything. And then you can have as many sort of like cameras as you like. We've got a Cinemachine virtual camera here, which is following our player armature. And then we have, and then we can add as many cameras as we want. So let's add a new camera to this. And then we're going to chuck this in the timeline as well. And we can add it to the timeline here. So what we're going to do is go to Game Object, Cinemachine, and we're going to choose a new virtual camera. Let's keep this as CM1 cam. Wicked. That's absolutely fine. Let's talk to our game, and our game has gone to that camera. That's fine. Let's change the scene. Let's say we want the scene from here, so we can move and we can maybe try and get both components in. So as we'll walk into the trigger, we can drag and move the camera down. Let's do that. And then we'll stay at this scene. So let us go to timeline, and we can actually go into this camera. Let's have a look at this camera actually. Can we drag it in a little bit? Advanced. Let's go Command Z. Oh, what is that done? Like in this camera. Right, let's put this into a parent of here. And then if I just take this view, hopefully we can have this and go edit game objects along with view. Cool, lovely. There's the Cinemachine. And what we can actually do is click on the plus and go to Cinemachine track and add a Cinemachine track here. So this is important because a lot of people get this wrong with Cinemachine. We want to add this camera in, but this camera is almost like already an animator. So what we're going to do is drag it in to the area here, not here. So if we drag it into here, we can say, oh, when is the camera going to take over? So let's say it's going to take over about here, or yeah, about there. There we go. Wicked. And then it's going to, we can stretch that, and it's going to release it once the animation has finished. Okay, so it'll release it back to our player. And this does this automatically. And as you can see here, it says non-Cinemachine brain. And as I said before, the main camera has a Cinemachine brain, so we can click and drag our main camera here. So let's play this through. So here's my game on maximized. It is. So this should snap to this camera view. So if I press play, let's press save as well, make sure that's right. So here we go, here's my player, let's go into here, and then it should, there we go, snaps to that camera, and it should release my camera once that animation is finished. Boom, there we go, fantastic. So we've created our own cutscene here. A little bit dodge, but what we can do, remember on our timeline we actually have, if we hold command or control on our keyboards, we can actually do the easy ease in, and we do the easy ease in and out. So let's change this and see what this looks like. Cool, lovely. So let's go and play this game again. Always wants me to do, and say changes. So there we go, let's go into our trigger, go into this trigger, should take over, there we go, fantastic. So that easy ease actually does a camera transition, and it should transition back, and easy ease back, there we go, fantastic. Cool, lovely, right, challenge time, finally got there. Only took me 22 minutes. So your challenge, what I would like you to do is, let's probably go into create a new Word document, and I can copy over, and then I'll put this in the Discord as well, across what I want you to do within the challenge. Cool, so this hopefully will paste. There we go, fantastic, cool. So this is your challenge. Download a treasure chest from the Unity Asset Store. I will supply the link within the Discord. Create a timeline animation in which the chest opens with particle systems and audio. So you are going to create the chest opening. So you remember the chest opening I showed at the start? Not this one, the Zelda chest opening. So let's go and do Zelda chest opening, not sound, just chest opening, see what we get. Hopefully we'll get that little video that's only 17 seconds. There we go. Oh, stupid adverts. Let's get past this. There we go. There we go. So I want you to create your own chest opening, just like this. And you can create the animations how you like. There we go, fantastic. And I even want an object to pop out of it. So let's have a quick look at the challenge. So the challenge was boom. Create a timeline in which the chest or a chest opens with a particle system and audio. Instantiate a reward / an item popping out of the chest. Okay, it doesn't have to be exactly like Zelda. If you've got other ones or other versions that you've seen and you want to create those, absolutely fine. Create a trigger that opens the chest when the player walks into it. So just like we've seen with the ship flying off, you can do something like that. You've now seen that with the nice easy code. A bonus that you can do is use a Cinemachine camera to blend and create a cinematic scene. So just like I showed you at the end, no coding. Make sure you have Cinemachine downloaded or implemented in. That's through the package manager. So if you wanted Cinemachine, we would go to Window, Package Manager. And I've probably already got this already downloaded here, but if I went to Unity Registry and went to just type in even Cine, will pop up. There we go, Cinemachine. I can update this version here, obviously I want you to download this, and then you can add the virtual cameras like I have. Absolutely fine. Or you can download this third person template from Unity and do exactly what I've done here as well, but obviously with a chest. And then as a bonus, use a Cinemachine camera, and then as an extra bonus, or something I want you to do anyway, is use the Unity recorder to record your animations and add it to the chat, please. Okay. Any questions, please ask Lauren. Everything else, I think you should be fine with. As I said, this is the kind of, we're getting to that ending phase here. What we will do is that, obviously we will look into more detail with Cinemachine cameras of how to blend 2 or 3 cameras together. But again, you can, even just from that bit on timeline, you can see how easy it is to use multiple cameras and when they can come in to create almost like a different, let's say like you want to create a dialogue and a conversation, you now know that you could easily have a camera for the player and a second camera down here for the NPC, and swap between them as the dialogue plays out between the audio. So then you just need to work with the audio track on the timeline again to create that, okay? So you can start getting really, really technical with it now. And again, we now know how to code through a simple trigger, which is just here. Just remember, you need using Unity Engine .playables. Once again, any questions, please ask Lauren. But hopefully I'll see you soon and you get on with this project, and I'll get to see some of your amazing bits and pieces that you've created as well, because I will keep an eye on the Discord. Cool. See you soon.